Can you say your name and occupation for the court?
My name is Lee Strobel. I'm a professor of Christian thought at Houston Baptist University and the author of more than 20 books about Christianity, including The Case for Christ.
Can you help me prove the existence of Jesus Christ?
Absolutely, beyond any reasonable doubt.
How so?
Actually, this court already affirmed it when we're called into session and date was given. Our calendar has been split between BC and AD, which was the birth of Jesus, which is quite a feat if you never existed. Beyond that, historian Gary Habermas lists 39 ancient sources for Jesus, which enumerates more than 100 reported facts about his life, teachings, crucifixion, and resurrection. In fact, the historical evidence for Jesus' execution is so strong that one of the most famous New Testament scholars, Gerd Ludman of Germany, said Jesus' death as a consequence of crucifixion is undisputable. Now, there are very few facts in ancient history that a critical historian like Gerd Ludman would say is undisputable. One of them is the execution of Jesus Christ.
Forgive me, but you are a believer, are you not? A Bible-believing Christian?
Guilty as charged.
So wouldn't this tend to inflate your estimate of the probability that Jesus existed?
No, because we don't need to inflate it. We can reconstruct the basic fact that Jesus was from non-Christian sources outside the Bible, and Gerd Ludman is an atheist. In other words, we can prove the existence of Jesus solely by using sources that have absolutely no sympathy towards Christianity. As agnostic historian Bart Ehrman says, Jesus did exist, whether we like it or not. I put it this way: denying the existence of Jesus doesn't make him go away. It merely proves that no amount of evidence will convince you.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Kane, your witness.
Mr. Kane, your witness.
No questions, Your Honor.
That's lunch. We will recess until 2 p.m.
Can you state your name and experience for the court?
My name is James Warner Wallace. I'm a retired homicide detective for Los Angeles County.
And are you the author of the book Cold Case Christianity?
Yes, I am.
Can you share the subtitle book with the court, please?
A homicide detective investigates the claims of the gospel.
Would I be correct in saying that your duty as a homicide detective are investigating cold case homicides?
Yes, was my expertise.
Don't most of those cases get solved with DNA evidence?
Objection, and counsel is testifying again, Your Honor.
I'll rephrase. How many of your cold cases are solved through DNA evidence?
None, not one. That's often popular on TV, but our department never had good fortune of solving a cold case with DNA.
How do most of these cold cases get solved then?
Often by examining eyewitness claims.
How is that possible?
We have a number of techniques we can use to test the reliability of eyewitnesses, including something called forensic statement analysis. That's a discipline, but we scrutinize that statement of eyewitnesses, looking at what they choose to emphasize, what they omit altogether, and how they'll expend or contract time. Also, when we examine these kinds of eyewitnesses' accounts, we usually tell who's lying, who's telling truth, and even who the guilty party is.
Did you apply this skill to any time outside your official capacity?
Yes, I applied my expertise to the death of Jesus at the hands of the Romans and actually looked at the Gospels as I would any other set of forensic statement. Within a matter of months, I determined that the 4 Gospels written from different perspectives contain eyewitness account from the life, ministry, death, and resurrection of Jesus.
Did you consider that the 4 accounts may be part of a conspiracy designed to promote the belief in fledgling faith?
You have to consider conspiracy when assessing our witnesses' accounts. But successful conspiracies typically involve fewest numbers of people. It's a lot easier for 2 people to lie and keep it secret than 20. That's what the problem with the conspiracy theories related to the apostles in the 1st century. There are just too many of them trying to hold conspiracy far too long. a period of time, and far worse, they are experiencing pressure like no other imaginable pressure. Every one of those folks were tortured and even died for what they claimed to see, and none of them ever recanted their story. So ill that this was a conspiracy in the first century, it's just really unreasonable. Instead, what I see is the gospel, something I call unintended eyewitness support.
What's an unintended eyewitness support statement?
I borrowed this Bible. Let me go to the Gospel of Matthew. It says in the Gospel of Matthew, for example, I'll start with the passage in which Jesus is in front of Caiaphas at a hearing. It says here, "Then he spit in his face and struck him with their fists. Others slapped him and said, 'Prophesy to us, Christ. Who hit you?'" That seems like a very simple request, given that men who hit him are standing right in front of him. Well, this makes no sense. Why would it be prophecy to be able to tell who hit you, but it's not until you read Luke that you get an answer to this. He says that the men who were guarding Jesus began mocking, beating him. They blindfolded him and demanded to prophesy who hit you. So now we know why this was the challenge, because Luke tells us what Matthew left out, that Jesus was actually blindfolded the time it took place. This is very common, this kind of unintentional eyewitness support that fills in detail that the first one left. This is very common, this kind of unintentional eyewitness support that fills in the detail that first one left out. After years of scrutinizing this gospel using the temple I used to determine if a witness is reliable, I concluded that the four gospels in this book contain reliable accounts of the actual words of Jesus.
That is to include the statements quoted by Miss Wesley in her class.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Detective. Your witness.
Walls. I'm not going to match biblical knowledge with you. Isn't it true that these gospel accounts vary widely in what they say? That there are numerous discrepancies between these accounts?
Exactly what we should expect.
I don't quite understand that.
Well, reliable eyewitness accounts always differ slightly on the way that they recall the story. They are coming to from different geographical perspectives, their history, even where they are located in the room. When I examined the gospel, I was trying to determine if these were accurate, reliable accounts, in spite of any difference that might be between the accounts.
And as a devout Christian, do you feel like you succeeded?
Mr. King, I think you misunderstood me. When I began this study, I was a devout atheist. I began examining the gospel as a committed skeptic, not as a believer. You see, I wasn't raised in a Christian environment. Although I do think I have an unusually high regard for the value of evidence, I'm not a Christian because I was raised that way, or because I hoped that it would satisfy some need or accomplish some goal. I'm simply a Christian because it's evidently true.
All rise. Be seated. Are we missing someone?
Your Honor, I have one final witness to call. Grace Wesley.
Ms. Wesley, please approach the stand.
Do I have to?
I'm afraid so.
Your Honor, given the witness's reluctance to testify, can I have the court's permission to treat her as a hostile witness?
You may, but proceed at your own
You swear
peril.
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Would you have a seat, please? Grace, I want you to do something for me. Something for everyone in this courtroom. I want you to apologize. I want you to say you're sorry and that you made a mistake.
Your Honor, what's going on around here?
Do it, Grace.
I can't do that
Why can't you do that, Grace?
because I don't believe I did anything wrong.
Well, as your attorney, I'm advising you to do it anyway. To at least pretend you're sorry and throw yourself at the mercy of the court.
That would be a lie!
So what? So what? Everyone lies.
Not everyone.
What are you looking to become a martyr? Oh, that's right. Last night, didn't you tell me that Jesus spoke to you personally?
Why are you doing this?
I'm the one asking questions, Miss Wesley. Did you or did you not tell me that Jesus spoke to you personally?
Yes.
And what did he say? I'll make it easy for you. Did you say he asked you a question?
That was personal. You weren't supposed to.
I don't care. The other night you told me Jesus asked you something. What did he ask you, Grace? Tell all of us. I think we deserve to know.
Why are you doing this to me?
Answer the question.
They won't believe
Doesn't matter.
me.
All that matters is that you believe it. Tell us, Grace, under penalty of perjury, what was the question that God presented to you personally on that night on campus? Answer the question. Answer the question.
He said, "Who do you say I am?
What did you answer?
You are the Christ, the Son of the living
There you
God."
have it, Your Honor. I think we've all heard enough.
Are you looking to change your client's plea?
No, Your Honor. I still say she's innocent of all wrongdoing. But I'm asking the jury to find against her anyway. Let's face it, she has the audacity to believe not only that there is a God, but she has a personal relationship with him, which colors everything that she says and does. I think it's time that we stop pretending we can trust a person like this to serve in a public capacity. In the name of tolerance and diversity, I say we destroy her.
That's enough, Mr. Ender.
Then we can all go to our graves content, knowing that we stomped out the last spark of faith that ever existed in the public square.
That's enough, Mr. Endler.
I say that we make an example of her.
Mr. Endler, that's
You
enough.
precedent that employment by our federal government mandates that you must first announce any belief system that you have.
Mr. Endler, that's enough. You are out of order.
And if someone slips through the cracks and hides their beliefs, then we arrest them and fine them. And if they don't play, we seize their property. And if they resist, well, let's not kid ourselves. Enforcement is always at the end of the gun.
Mr. Endler, you're out of control. And I charge you with contempt.
I accept the charge because I've done nothing but contempt for these proceedings. If we are going to insist that a Christian's right to believe is subordinate to all other rights, then it's not a right. Somebody is always going to be offended. 2,000 years of human history proves that. So I say we get on with it, cite the law, charge the jury, and send them out to deliberate.
So be it. Now we're going to bypass whatever that was and send the jury out to deliberate. We shall recess for 2 hours. Has the jury reached a
We
verdict?
have, Your Honor. We found in favor of Grace.
Yeah!
It's not dead.
God's not dead!
Ludman of Germany said Jesus' death as a consequence of crucifixion. We're gonna have to stop.
Name and occupation for the court.
My name is Lee Strobel.
That's lunch. We will recess until 2 p.m.
I'm the author of the book Cold Case Christianity.
Yes. I am.
Stop.
That's a discipline, but we, can we,
That we screw.
do I need a Bible? With these front of Caiaphas.
Should include statements that with.
And as a devout Christian, do you feel like you succeed?
I have one final witness to call. Grace Wesley.
Oh, I just got that.
Dad, I didn't
You're
finish.
doing this. Oh, whoops.
So be it. Now we're going to bypass whatever this was and send the jury out to deliberate. We shall recess. So be it.
Dead.
Wait.
Oh, you say a funny
Wait,
one.
things
Now.
in the air.
Like right now.